Hi everyone, it's Fiona again. Welcome back to my channel, Lavender Blue. And today I've got something a little bit different. I'm going to be putting some little printable boxes, like gift boxes, in my Etsy shop. So I just wanted to come on and show you how to put them together. So I've got a couple of different designs here. One is a little box with a lid, and the other one is a little box that has a sleeve that goes over the top. It's a bit like a little matchbox, but bigger. And the other reason why I wanted to come on and show you was because in my Facebook group this month, we're going to have a challenge, which I haven't put it up there yet, but I will be later today. And the challenge is going to be to make a mini book to fit inside this little box here. But I'll explain about that a little bit more when I have put it together. So let's just go ahead. So when you get this one, you'll get 2 A4 pages of the base and the lid. So we just need to cut them out. And then I'll let you know all the measurements once we've put it together. So I'm sure you don't want to sit there watching me cut them out, so I'll just go ahead and do that and I'll come back. Okay, so I'm back and I have cut mine out, all ready to go. And you'll notice that there are some solid cutting lines, and then there are some broken lines on these. So all of the broken lines that you see, you fold on those. And where you see any solid lines, you need to cut along those. Just on this box here, it has some solid lines in the corners there, but we'll do that when we get to that one. Okay, so I'm going to put this one together first. I'm going to start with the base. And all I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to fold along all of the fold lines. And just score them down, burnish them, make sure they're folded nicely and straight. And of course you can also ink up your little box all the way around before you put it together. So all I'm doing is folding along all the fold lines first. And fold our little tabs in. And I'm just going to, need to do these ones as well, sorry. Make sure they're straight. And I'm going to put a little bit of ink around mine, just because I I like that look. And I'm just using, I'm actually using a VersaFine ink, which it's called Vintage Sepia. And I think it's very similar to Tim Holtz's Vintage Photo ink. I'm just going to do on my folds. I'm not too bothered so much around the edges, but I'm just going to get them in as well. And this one. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to just put some glue on these 4 little tabs. Here, here, here and here. So I'm just going to fold them in. Start with these 2. You can also use double-sided tape if you prefer, rather than a wet glue. I have some here, which I might actually use. So just putting a little bit of tape there. And this one. Then I'm just going to trim off the excess. I actually need a smaller pair of scissors for that. Take off the excess tape here. Oops, keeps sticking to my scissors. Okay. So once you've done that, it's just a matter of pulling up these sides. And just do one at a time. I can rip my tape off properly. Sometimes I need to use a little tool just to help me. Oh, come on, doesn't want to work today. There we are. I rip that off and I'm just going to stick this straight on there like that. This one corner. The next corner. Nope. No. Hold on, I'll get it. Oh. I probably didn't burnish it down enough. If you really stick that down, it makes it a bit easier. There we go. think for these two I'll use the wet glue. It's just a little bit quicker. Not too much, but you want enough around the edges there to make sure you've got no holes in your box. Just lift it up and you might need to hold that in place for a minute or two. Okay, so that is the base of our little box. You can see that it's actually quite deep, quite tall. So now I'm just going to put together the lid. So I'm folding along all the dotted lines. This one. Bits on the side. Not sure if I did. Oh yeah, that's fine. This one. Last one. And so for the lid, all we need to do is put the glue on these little flaps here. I'm going to do this one and this one. Just glue them in like that. This one and this one. Okay. So there's our lid, and that just sits on the little box just like that. So this box measures, well actually that's the size of the lid. So if we're going to make a little journal to go into the box, we really need to know the size of the base. And it is 2 5/8 of an inch. Or actually it's about 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. or in centimetres, that's 6.7 by 8.5. So if we're going to make a little journal to go in this, obviously you can have a really chunky little journal in there because it's quite a high box. Just over 6 centimetres. So you could have like a 5 centimetre spine, which is about 2 inches, if you wanted to. And the little lid goes on just like that. So I think this is the box we're going to use in our challenge in the Facebook group, which I will put the details onto my Facebook group. And this little box here is going to be a free printable. It's going to be the free printable for today, for Freebie Friday. So if you wanted to make a little journal to go inside that, you can. Now the other box, we'll put together this one. And I'll show you the size of this one. Because you can also use this box if you prefer. But this one's not going to be the free printable, just the other little one is. There. Another little fold just here. So this is our sleeve that goes over the top of the box. And with the box, there are some solid lines in here that we need to cut. So just from here to there, and here into there, this side, once again I'm going to fold along all of the lines. And I mean, you don't have to do this out of a thin cardstock like what I'm doing. If you wanted to, you know, make this one out of a thicker card, like an old box or something, even an old cereal box would probably be a bit more sturdy than this one. So just whatever you have. Making sure I get this right, actually. finish folding it. There we go. I won't ink them up because just take a bit too much time. And these ones on this end also. So this is going to be a longer box. So to put it together, you're just going to bring up one of the longer sides and then bring in the little flap, the ones that we cut, and that's going to sit in between, and you're going to glue it down like this. So I'm going to put glue on the little flap as well as all the way along here. And here, then on this outer one here, and just going to fold that in, and that's going to fold over the top like so. But I haven't stuck this end yet because this one has to tuck into there. I probably should have put glue on these at the same time, to be honest. Put glue on this one as well. And just put that one under there as well, like that. Same on this side. I'm going to do both of these and then the top one. And it's a bit like a large matchbox, this one. And fold these in and fold this one over. And there we have our little matchbox. And it measures just over 7 centimeters, or 2 7/8 of an inch by 5 3/4, which I think I put down that it was 6 by 3, so that's just roughly, it's a little bit less. 2 7/8 by 5 3/4, which is, what did I say, just over 7 centimeters by 15 centimeters. Now we're going to glue together this little sleeve, and all we need to do is put some glue on the small flap here. And fold this around. Should go like that. Press it down, make sure my glue is dry. Yep. And if I folded it correctly, it should like that. And that's the other little box. So you can decide if you want to take part in the challenge whether you want to make a little chunky monkey to go in here, or whether you'd like to make a sort of taller one to go into the little matchbox. So these are going to be in my Etsy shop, but as I said, this one here is going to be a freebie for today. For people that are in my Facebook group, you can download and print this out. And then I shall put up the details of the challenge. So those are the cute little boxes that I'm going to be making more of those as well. And there is another little box that it's not actually going to be in my shop just yet, but it will be. And this is another little tiny matchbox one, but this one is enclosed and it just opens at the side like this. This is an even teenier little box. So this, look out for this little one also in my shop, because you could make a cute little one to go in there too. 2.5 by 2 3/4. Okay, so that's all I had to share today, and I'll put the link below to my Facebook group and my Etsy shop. Thanks very much guys for watching. Bye bye.